According to previews for The Young and the Restless, Victor Newman will continue to use cunning tactics against Jack Abbott. Victor has actually been developing a strategy that has the potential to cause significant harm. When Jack purchased the Glissade divisions that his opponent had been selling for a low price, Victor was undoubtedly not happy. Victor was incensed when Jack was able to acquire an unbroken company because he intended to offer Diane Jenkins Abbott a blank canvas. Diane is now in charge of Glissade, which has been renamed as Jabot Classic by Jack. Jack is thrilled to see Diane take on this leadership role since it's a means to commemorate the past while simultaneously creating something new. But off-screen, Victor discussed with Michael Baldwin how to get back at Jack. Victor was determined that his lawyer make this happen, even though Michael was cautious and a little unsure of whether it could be done. You can be sure that Jack will not approve of anything Victor has planned this time. The cycle of retaliation will continue since this will just incite Jack to use more force to obtain the upper hand. Victor appears to be planning another top-secret strike against Jack as their rivalry intensifies. According to YNR teasers, Victor will try to destroy the business and deal a truly devastating blow to Jabot, who will become even more of a target. The outcome of the remainder of this dispute may have an impact on Jack and Diane's marriage. Instead of merely producing a phony breakup as he did previously, Victor would want to ruin Diane and Jack's romance for real this time. Naturally, we cannot overlook the impact that Jack and Victor's arguments would have on their relatives, especially Kyle Abbott and Claire Newman, who are now a couple. Our forecasts suggest that all the vindictive machinations will have an impact because Claire and Kyle will feel pulled in different directions by the growing hatred between the Newman and Abbotts. According to teasers for The Young and the Restless, Victor will have some surprises planned for the upcoming months. We'll keep you informed about all the business news and startling consequences. Nick Newman won't have all the answers, but he will at least pick up some new pieces along the way, according to spoilers for the week of January 6th to 10th on The Young and the Restless. Nick might come to believe that Ian Ward is responsible for all of Sharon Newman's torture after learning of Ian's release from prison and return to Genoa City. Naturally, now that Sharon is missing, worries should be mounting. Although Ian is involved in all of this, Nick will need to put in a little more work to identify Ian's accomplice. Nick may eventually be thrown off the track, but he will continue to look and find more of the puzzle pieces we described. This is due to the fact that Jordan will conceal her identity and figure out how to ruin Phyllis Summers' life next. Ian recently gave them some off-screen directions about Phyllis and how to take advantage of her vindictive nature. Soon enough, Jordan will follow her instructions and put Phyllis in a difficult situation. The police may believe that Phyllis took matters into her own hands because she left the New Year's Eve celebration at the Jazz Lounge around the time Sharon vanished. Will Nick become doubtful of Phyllis's guilt or will he fall for Jordan's false pretenses? In any event, Nick is committed to solving the remaining mystery and rescuing Sharon from the predicament she's in. After meeting Ian, Mariah Copeland will continue to be troubled and concerned about how close he has become to her family. Mariah will be really worried about Ian and his potential, even though Tessa Porter will be all right after all the commotion surrounding drugging. There will be many worries for Victor Newman as well, so he will go into defensive mode and take any necessary precautions to keep the Newmans safe. Victor will undoubtedly be ready to carry out his hazardous threats if necessary after hurling them at Ian. Ian might be too arrogant for his own good, even though he may enjoy the mayhem he's causing. Fans of YNR should keep an eye out for Ian's horrific demise at the ranch in the upcoming weeks. The debut of Nathan Owens, scheduled for January 8th, should be discussed in the interim. Nate Hastings will have the opportunity to approach Damien, his half-brother, and try to sell a false narrative, but that strategy might not be successful. Is Owens going to play Damien, or is there a chance that he may play Damien instead? Whatever happens, Nate is going to be shocked when additional information about the mystery surrounding the Count of Monte Cristo becomes available. Lastly, Audra Charles will not reveal some details about the impending Damien catastrophe. As the action picks up, it's possible that Damien is Audra's ex or her prior cunning partner if he had a different name. According to teasers for The Young and the Restless, Jordan and Ian Ward will continue to relish their reign of terror. Even while Ian and Jordan are quite entertaining to watch, it's clear that they won't be able to hold their victim's advantage for very long. The Newmans will soon play a larger role in Jordan and Ian's plot, which makes it particularly true. Victor Newman is unbeatable because he will always go to whatever lengths to keep the people he cares about safe. But in what might be their last confrontation, Nikki will be the one to take the initiative. Could this be Nikki's opportunity to permanently eliminate her fiercest adversary? Despite Colleen Zank's outstanding acting, some fans believe that Jordan has reached the end of her useful life. How many more times can Jordan return to exact revenge on the same people in the show? We must think about who might remove Jordan off the map if this turns out to be her tragic exit arc. Jordan may be eliminated by Claire Newman in self-defense, but it's also possible that Cole Howard, Victoria Newman, or Victor might do it instead. Depending on how things turn out, even Nick Newman, Phyllis Summers, or Sharon Newman may have to fire Jordan for good. Nevertheless, Nikki might be the most appropriate person to perform the lethal honors. Nikki still deserves a good dose of retribution for the way Jordan held her captive and led to her relapse into booze. Even though Nikki allowed Jordan to live in the past, she might decide this time that enough is enough and alter her mind. When this startling plot point reaches its culmination, do you think Jordan will die? Could Jordan be stopped for the final time by Nikki or another person? No matter what, our YNR forecasts promise some incredible moments, so we'll keep you updated on any unexpected Jordan news. According to previews for The Young and the Restless, Jordan and Nikki will undoubtedly face off in a major confrontation soon, so be sure to tune in. According to teasers for The Young and the Restless, Ian Ward may believe he is unbreakable, but some impending drama at the ranch may cause him to have a rude awakening. Let's talk about the instability that is brewing because it appears like Ian could suffer major injuries once all of his plots come to fruition. Christian LeBlanc posted a thank you note for 2024 on Instagram, along with a few pictures from the previous year. A picture taken on site was included in that post, and it appears to give away a lot about what's to come. Ray Wise is surrounded by a number of the cast members in the stolen shot, but what really caught our eye was his attire. It looks like Ian might be shot during a ranch showdown soon because Wise's sweatshirt has a faux blood stain on the front. Naturally, no information has been released regarding who will pull the trigger as of yet, but we'll keep you informed as more information becomes available. Ian's gory shocker will add some fantastic excitement to the CBS soap opera, regardless of who is behind it. The fact that everyone was congregated around Wise would suggest that they were bidding each other farewell and taking part in a farewell photo. If someone were to shoot Ian, would he be dead? Raquel Bell might try her best to spare Ian from a terrible fate because she will be portraying an EMT in some future sequences. However, there are no assurances, particularly when it comes to a villain like Ian who merits a spectacular conclusion. In any event, YNR fans will want to keep an eye on Ian since he will be in danger throughout all of this impending ranch chaos. Ian won't be able to avoid a serious medical issue in the not-too-distant future since our forecasts indicate that he will wind up in more difficulties than he anticipated. According to spoilers for The Young and the Restless, Ian's intriguing plot will continue to take unexpected turns. The powerful titan of commerce, Victor Newman, was well known for his capacity to change the course of events. But his most recent plan was bolder and more secret than anything he had ever tried. The stakes were more personal this time. Longtime rival Jack Abbott had led Jabot Cosmetics to unheard-of levels of success, making it a major force in the world and a source of contention for Newman Enterprises. But for Victor, this was more than just business, it was a chance to establish his dominance of the game once and for all, as well as a chance to gain pride and retribution. The ensuing top-secret maneuver was so well thought out and devastating that it had the potential to completely upend Jabot and destroy Jack's universe. The first step in Victor's strategy was to put together a secret group of loyalists, people he could completely rely on and whose loyalty to him was unwavering. They included the shrewd legal strategist Michael Baldwin, his son Adam Newman, who had a knack for deceit, and a tech-savvy agent named Elena Shaw, who had established a reputation for industrial espionage. They created a covert partnership with the goal of dismantling Jabot from the inside out, each person contributing a distinct set of skills. Gathering intelligence was the first step in Victor's plan. Elena was given the responsibility of breaking into Jabot's digital infrastructure in order to find private information such as financial records, impending product releases, and internal correspondence. She was able to get over the company's strong cybersecurity procedures thanks to her experience, and in a matter of weeks, she had amassed a wealth of data. She found a goldmine. Jabot was getting ready to introduce a cutting-edge skincare brand that would revolutionize the market. Jack had made every effort to ensure the launch's success, which was set for the next quarter. Victor was aware that the best method to get to the core of Jabot's activities would be to interfere with this launch. Michael Baldwin, meantime, put in a lot of effort behind the scenes to take advantage of whatever legal weaknesses Jabot might have. He examined the business's contracts, history, and intellectual property rights in an effort to find any weaknesses or possible liabilities. When he discovered an old patent battle that Jabot had resolved years prior, his efforts paid off. Michael understood that this dormant matter might be revived with the correct leverage, putting Jack and his staff in a legal bind. Ever the wild card, Adam Newman assumed responsibility for planning diversions and distractions. He started a series of deliberate actions to damage Jabot's reputation, such as spreading false information about the company's financial standing and circulating tales of internal strife among its executives. Victor thought that these strategies would undermine Jack's position by sowing mistrust among Jabot's partners and investors. Victor carried out the second stage of his strategy, which involved obtaining an insider at Jabot while the foundation was being laid. He was able to influence Rachel Kane, a senior marketing director and one of Jack's trusted colleagues, through a series of secret meetings and generous financial incentives. Disillusioned by Jack's leadership and seduced by Victor's assurances of riches and power, Rachel consented to be a double agent. She played a crucial role in sabotaging important initiatives from within and giving Victor real-time updates on Jabot's tactics. Her influence caused delays and misunderstandings to become frequent, which further reduced the effectiveness of the business. Victor was getting ready for the last blow, a hostile takeover, as the pieces of the puzzle came together. Using the information his team had obtained, he planned a concerted attack on the value of Jabot's shares. Because of Elena's skill with technology, Newman Enterprises was able to quietly influence market conditions and undermine investor trust. Michael simultaneously tied up Jabot's legal resources and diverted its leadership with a string of litigation based on the revived patent issue. Ever the provocateur, Adam provided the media with a constant flow of negative stories that portrayed Jabot as a business on the verge of going out of business. Victor's strategy came to fruition at a crucial board meeting at Jabot. Victor took action while Jack Abbott stood in front of his executives, trying to mobilize them against the growing obstacles. He had covertly obtained a sizable stake in Jabot's stock through a network of proxy investors. They demanded a vote of no confidence in Jack's leadership when the time was ripe, revealing their true loyalty. When Jack discovered the full scope of Victor's schemes, the room exploded into turmoil. Victor wasn't finished, though. The introduction of Newman Enterprises' skincare line, which was nearly identical to Jabot's impending launch, was his last move. Weeks before Jabot's scheduled launch, the product, which was created covertly using the stolen data, was released. Newman Enterprises successfully undercut Jabot with aggressive marketing and savvy pricing, leaving Jack's team frantically trying to salvage what they could from their now compromised launch. For Jabot, the consequences were disastrous. The company's reputation suffered, its stock fell, and Jack became entangled in internal power struggles and legal disputes. The result of months of painstaking preparation and brutal execution, it was a moment of victory for Victor. However, he had a rare moment of introspection as he sat in his office, relishing his triumph. The war was his, but at what price? The extent of his efforts to ruin Jack's world served as a sobering reminder of how intense their competition was and how much it cost each of them. However, their most recent meeting was the last spark. Jordan's desperation was evident as they further alienated their fans by using actions that many considered dishonorable. But Nikki maintained her composure and used the occasion to emphasize how different they were from one another. The storyline underwent a significant transformation, with Nikki emerging as the prophet of change and Jordan now being portrayed as a waning despot holding on to power. That encounter had far-reaching consequences. Jordan was under increasing pressure to demonstrate that they still had what it takes to compete at the top level after public opinion sharply changed in Nikki's favor. There would inevitably be a rematch, but the stakes were bigger than ever. It's a fight for redemption for Jordan. For Nikki, it's an opportunity to deal their biggest adversary the last, crushing blow. The battle of the mind. the psychological struggle between the two has escalated to new levels as the rematch draws near. Jordan's unwavering confidence now appears to be tinged by insecurity. According to interviews, the fighter is plagued by the fear of losing and is determined to disprove their skeptics. On the other hand, Nikki has accepted their position as the challenger who became a favorite. The pressure on their competitor has only increased as a result of their composed manner and subtle barbs at Jordan's weaknesses. Both sides are fighting a verbal war on social media, which has turned into a battlefield unto itself. Jordan's fans hold out hope for a miracle return, while Nikki's supporters celebrate their ascent as a testament to justice and tenacity. This prelude's intensity has produced an environment where every word, gesture, and action is closely examined, heightening the drama in an already tense scenario. The last battle. The world will be watching when the time for truth comes. With both fighters taking no chances, the rematch is sure to be an unforgettable sight. Regaining the dominance that previously characterized their career will probably be the key to Jordan's plan. In an attempt to remind everyone why they were regarded as the finest, they would try to overwhelm Nikki with a show of strength and violence. But Nikki is skilled at countering Jordan's advantages. Their strategy will probably center on taking advantage of Jordan's flaws and keeping the poise that has come to define them. Nikki has a good chance of solidifying their reputation as the team that put a stop to Jordan's rule if they can persevere through the storm and carry out their strategy. The question of legacy. The legacy of both combatants will be significantly impacted by this matchup, regardless of the result. For Jordan, winning would be a reminder of their long-standing dominance and a joyful return to form. A defeat, on the other hand, would validate their downfall and would condemn them to the status of faded stars who were unable to change with the times. For Nikki, winning would confirm their reputation as a pioneer in their industry. In addition to marking the end of their trip, it would also demonstrate the strength of tenacity and strategic acumen. Even while a defeat would be disheartening, it wouldn't be as terrible because Nikki's reputation as a fierce competitor would probably live on, providing opportunity for future atonement. In conclusion, more than merely a contest, the conflict between Jordan and Nikki is a struggle of human nature, traditions, and ideas. One question looms big as the world watches this high-stakes drama play out: can they overcome the odds and retake their reign, or is this really Jordan's tragic exit arc? Will the victory of Nikki signal the end of one of the most famous rivalries in history, or just the start of a new chapter in their story? After all is said and done, the competitive landscape will be completely different. It is almost time to write the last chapter, which is sure to be epic.